You alright my loves, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing this gorgeous full glam makeup look. We've got a little bit of a cat eye going on, a little bit of sparkle, smoky bronze, with a full glam dewy skin base. We've got absolutely everything going on here and it's the perfect look to learn for the classic full glam makeup look. So let's stop babbling on and let's get on to today's tutorial. So starting off with a little bit of skin prep first, so I'm taking the Garnier Micellar Water. This is the rose water version and I'm using a cotton pad just to clean the skin a little bit. We always like to make sure we're starting off with a fresh base, so I'm taking this cotton pad all across the face and cleaning the skin of any dirt, any excess oils, excess makeup, absolutely anything that's on the skin will get clean, and we'll start off with a lovely, gorgeous, clean, fresh base. And next we're going to go in with the Bioma Milky Toner. This is one of my favourite toners to use after I've cleansed the skin. It adds a nice level of hydration. It really hydrates the dry patches on the skin and it helps makeup look like a skin-like finish. It's almost got a dewy finish to the skin. It helps hydrate it from within as well. And this paired with a moisturiser makes it absolutely unbeatable. It creates a nice smooth finish and it's really perfect for all skin types as well. It can work for dry skin, oily skin. It's one of my favourites and I use it pretty much all the time. Now once we've finished massaging the toner into the skin, I'm going to apply a little bit of moisturiser. So I'm using the Embryolisse Late Cream Concentrate. Now I've definitely butchered that name. I am not French, obviously. I apologise for butchering that name. But I am massaging this moisturiser into the skin with my hands to make sure we're applying a nice hydrated, dewy skin finish as well. My model today does have more of a dry skin type and we have been filming this in December, so it's more of a dry season as well. So I'm making sure to hydrate the skin as much as possible with our moisturiser and toners, so when we apply our full glam makeup later on, it'll just stick amazing, it'll look amazing, and it'll last all day long as well. So now we're going to move into brows. So I'm using a Pink Honey Fluff Brow Wax on a disposable spoolie and I'm just applying this lightly into the natural brows. Now Yasmin, our model today, does have amazing eyebrows. These are her natural brows, so we don't need to do too much to them. Look at the definition, look at the thickness. We don't need to overdraw them, we don't need to fill them in too much. So I'm just applying a little bit of brow wax to the eyebrows to shape them a little bit, get that defined line. I'm also scooping the spoolie on top of the brow to make sure it's really nice and defined, there's no stray hairs, and I'm fluffing up the brow at the front to make sure it's nice and natural and fluffy as well. Yasmin does prefer a fluffier eyebrow, so I took this into consideration to make sure our brows are kind of laminated and stuck down, but they've still got that natural fluffy hold to them, and this Pink Honey brow wax is absolutely amazing for doing that. It's got a matte finish, it holds really well, it's not shiny, it doesn't peel, it's just the perfect brow wax for this look. So now we're going to jump ahead into our carving of the brows. So I'm using the Too Faced Multi-Use Concealer. This is in the shade Nude on a flat brush from Shein actually, and I'm carving the eyebrows. So I'm using the flat brush with the concealer to go underneath the eyebrows to carve it out. This is going to be our eyeshadow base as well. So we're going to use this as a base for our eyeshadows, which will make them more pigmented, it'll make them blend easier, and it just also carves the eyebrow out very nicely to make sure that we're using the natural brow as much as possible. So I haven't filled in the brow with any pencil or anything here, I've just used a concealer. We're already adding a really nice definition to the brows. Now of course this is also our eyeshadow base, so we need to make sure we are covering the entire eyelid. We're making sure to have a full coverage concealer that does dry down a little bit, not too matte, not too dewy, and this Too Faced concealer is absolutely perfect for that. Now as you can see, I also take it out towards the outer corner, towards the inner corner to make sure I've got a bit of blending room, because we want to make sure we're blending it into the skin as well. So I also take an eyeshadow brush. This is just a dense eyeshadow brush from MOB&Co, and I'm blending the concealer into the rest of the skin. So I'm blending it slightly into the nose, into the temples, just so we've got no harsh lines with our concealer. You can also use this brush to tap on top of the lids to make sure to remove any excess products, just in case you put a little bit too much concealer on, because it happens sometimes, trust me. So now we're prepped and primed, we can jump ahead into our eyeshadow, which is one of the most important parts of any makeup look. So I'm using the Pink Honey Creme de la Creme eyeshadow palette. Now this palette's got a bunch of cream shadows and a bunch of powder eyeshadows as well. So we're actually taking one of the cream eyeshadows first onto a fluffy dome shaped brush, and I'm patting the cream eyeshadow just into the outer corner. So I'm building up my colour colour first, and I'm going to blend it throughout the eye to create a nice bronzy base to work upon. Pretty much all the celebrity makeup artists do this trick. Makeup by Ariel, Makeup by Maria, all the Kardashian makeup artists, they all do a little bit of a cream bronze first, and then they put eyeshadow on top, and it just makes it super blended, super flawless, super photogenic. It just works. It just really works, and it gives you an idea of what you can work with on the eye as well. And of course, we've already done the concealer and we've not set it with powder, so this cream product is going to blend into that concealer absolutely flawlessly. So I'm applying it into the outer corner, and I'm also taking it into the crease just to give a little bit of warmth and a little bit of shape throughout the eye as a little bit of our transition colour. Now once we've done our cream base, we can jump ahead into our powder eyeshadow. So I'm actually taking the same colour eyeshadow, this is just a powder version, and I'm putting it right on top of the cream product we just laid down. I'm using a fluffy eyeshadow brush, something quite big and fluffy so we can really blend it into the skin. And I'm using a more tan caramel camel brown colour. It's almost like a bronzer colour, and I'm building it up slowly onto the outer corner and taking it throughout the crease as well. And as you can see, I'm putting most of that product on the outer corner because that's where most of the eyeshadow is going to be. It's what's going to contour the eye, add a little bit of definition, a little bit of depth. So you want to make sure you're focusing this colour right on top of this area. Now with this shadow, we're just simply placing it on top of the cream to set it in place, and then we'll go ahead with our deeper shadows. And to add a little bit of depth to this makeup look, we're taking a deeper turned brown. This is a rich red undertone brown, and I'm placing this onto the outer corners of the eyes using a smaller dome shaped brush just to build a little bit of a darker tone onto the outer corner. We might take it slightly into the crease as well just to add a little bit of a darker tone, and this is going to help shape the eye and add a little bit more dimension into our eye look. And because we already did our transition colours, it should blend absolutely beautifully. Just make sure you're using a minimal pressure, using side motions and blending your colour as you go, and you can always jump back into your previous colour if you want to, if you need to blend it out a little bit. And because this is a full glam makeup look, we are adding another darker brown shade from the exact same palette. This is the second darkest shade from the palette, using another small dome shaped brush and building that dark brown across the outer corners of the eye. Now my goal is to place this as close as possible to the lash line. You want it really close to the lashes and almost fading out like a gradient from the lashes into your outer corner of your eye. So this is going to create a natural contour. It's going to add a little bit of depth and dimension again, but it's going to add that smokiness, that glam vibes that we really know and love, and it just blends flawlessly with the rest of the makeup as well. It just adds a little bit of a push, a little bit of depth, and that's exactly what we need for this full glam makeup look. Now we're going to brighten up the inner corners of the eyes with a lighter toned eyeshadow from this exact same Pink Honey palette, and I'm taking a dome shaped brush and I'm very lightly brushing this onto the inner corner of the eye. So that inner half, that's where you want most of the brightness to be. It's going to open up the eyes, elongate the eyes and create a wider eye shape as well, and it's also going to create that little bit of a tilt to the eyes that gives the illusion that you're a bit more snatched, and that's exactly what we want with our makeup look. And matte eyeshadows can be a little bit tricky, so I'm making sure to use a very soft brush, a very soft eyeshadow, and I'm using a very small amount of product. You want to use a small amount at a time, very light-handed with your pressure, and just build it into the area that you want to brighten. So now we're going to add a little bit of a shimmer to the eyes. Now I'm actually using a product from e.l.f. and this is their Finest Fleck Shimmer Eyeshadow Singles. It's a gorgeous shimmer eyeshadow. As you can see, it provides a really nice wet look shimmer eyeshadow to the glam. It's not too full on. It's not got actually that much pigment to it, but it has got a lot of reflect, so it's really glittery and really wet looking, but it's not covering up the entire eye with a colour, which is exactly what we want. So I'm applying this with a small flat fluffy brush from P. Louise, and I'm just patting it on to the eyelids into that inner half of the eye where we brightened earlier. You don't want to take this on top of the dark colours because that'll just ruin what you've just done, so we're just placing it onto that inner half to brighten it up, add that wet effect to the eyes, and it's a really good way of adding a shimmer, a little bit of glitter without overdoing it and adding a full-on cut crease. A lot of my clients do prefer this kind of look, and they say it just adds a little bit of spark, a little bit of pizzazz to the whole makeup look. So now we're going to deepen up that waterline, taking the Maybelline Tattoo Eyeliner Pencil in the shade Deep Onyx, and I'm applying this straight onto the waterline, and it's a gorgeous full coverage black eyeliner pencil that does not budge. We are doing a black cat eye with this makeup look to really bring in that full glam smoky effect. So I really wanted to make sure we're doing a deep black liner in that waterline, and this pencil is absolutely perfect. You just want to make sure if you are applying this on clients or yourself that you are bringing down your waterline with one finger and applying it with another. That just makes sure that it goes right into that waterline as close as possible and makes it really nice and smoky. Now we're also going to tightline with this eyeliner pencil as well, applying the same eyeliner into the tightline area, which is essentially the waterline underneath your lashes. This just adds a really nice smoky full glam effect again, and it just completes the entire makeup look. It makes sure that you've got no difference between the lashes and your eyeliner, and it really finishes the entire look. So now we're going to go ahead into our black winged eyeliner. Now I'm taking the Inglot gel liner and a very thin angled brush from Shein. Now don't worry if you mess this up, because we've not done the face yet, so we can clean it up later in a way, and I always tend to mess things up on camera all the time, so don't worry about it. So we start off with our bottom line of eyeliner first, pointing it in the direction towards the temples and eyebrows, and I like to create quite a thin wing, to be honest, nothing too crazy. And once I've created that bottom line, I'm going to take the wing into the eye shape. So as you can see, I've left my model's eyes open, which means I can actually see where this eyeliner is going to go. So I'm starting to drag the eyeliner and drag it ever so slightly into the eye shape. And once I've figured out where I'm going to be putting that eyeliner, I'm going to bring it into the lash line as well. Once we've completed our liner, I am going to take the same concealer that we used earlier, the Too Faced one, and the same brush that we used for our eye primer, and I'm going to carve underneath that wing to make sure it's super precise and sharp. So if you do make any mistakes, as there are any bumps along the road, you can correct them. Everything can be fixed. Absolutely everything can be fixed with makeup if you follow this technique. And it's an absolutely amazing way of snatching up the eyes and lifting up the eye shape at the exact same time. So once you've applied the concealer, just make sure to blend it with a fluffy brush to make sure it's blended into the skin for that super flawless application. Now I did also take that concealer under the eyes as another little bit of eye primer, and now we're going to smoke out the under eyes as well. So I'm taking these tiny little brushes from Shein, the really small smudger brushes, which are absolutely perfect for a precise smoky under eye. I'm taking the exact same Pink Honey eyeshadow palette that we used earlier with the dark brown, and I'm applying it right underneath the eyeliner to create a little bit more of a smoky blend. And to blend out that darker shade even further, I'm taking another smudger brush from MLB & Co and the lighter brown shade we used originally, just to smoke out that dark brown into the skin to make a nice transition of colour for our smoky under eyes. And then we can take a clean brush, blend out the brown into the concealer, and we've got a perfectly blended smoky under eye. So now for the inner corner cat eye, we're using the same gel liner that we used earlier and a very precise P. Louise liner brush. It's one of them liner brushes that's basically just a couple hairs, it's like a stick almost. And I'm taking it right into the inner tear duct of the eye, and I'm just extending that tear duct, so just following along where the natural eye points. So I'm just following along that line with the black eyeliner to create a very thin line of liner, and this just creates a really, not natural, but a subtle cat eye effect without it being too dramatic. I'm also taking the eyeliner into the waterline and the tightline area as well to make sure that it's a completed look. I don't want there to be any gaps with the eyeliner because it just looks a bit rubbish, to be honest, but we want to make sure that both of these lines are symmetrical, which in my opinion today this did not happen. As you can see, one's pointing left and one's pointing down. Don't worry, we all make mistakes, and you can always take your concealer to clean it up if you need to. But do not worry, absolutely everyone can make a mistake, especially if you're filming on camera. So now we're finally going to jump ahead into our base makeup to create a nice full glam base. So I'm starting off with the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer. This is an absolutely amazing primer if you want your makeup to stick to the skin and for it to last all day and all night long. It's a really nice hydrating primer because it's serum based and it's got really nice ingredients in it that helps the skin stay hydrated. So it adds that tackiness, that sticky velcro feeling that grips onto your foundation, but it doesn't dry out the skin, which a lot of them do that. This Maybelline primer is absolutely amazing, and I am applying it with a brush. I'm just using a P. Louise paw print style brush, and I'm patting this across the entire base. So now I'm going to add a little bit of a glow to the skin using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. Now this is a gorgeous way of applying a glowy skin tint with a little bit of coverage, just to help add the glowiness and the dewiness into our base makeup. So I'm using it with the P. Louise Paw Print style brush again, and I'm patting it into the skin to kind of blend out this product really nicely. You don't want there to be any streaky marks with this. Now I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow kind of as a primer, to be honest. It's kind of priming for the foundation later on, so we can end up using less foundation for our full glam makeup because we've already got the coverage there and we've already got the glowiness with this product, so we don't need to apply half as much foundation later on. My makeup style is all about building layers, and we're building multiple layers of different products to get the look that we want. It's not all about throwing a full coverage foundation on and hoping for the best. You want to make sure you're building up your layers, building up your products to get the flawless makeup look that you need. So now I'm going to apply a foundation, and I'm using the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in 3 different shades. So I've mixed together the shades Punjab, Aruba and Cordoba to create more of a golden olive undertone to our makeup look, as Yasmin does have some olive undertones in her skin, so we want to make sure that we're matching her skin as perfectly as possible. So I've applied this with a flat brush first, just a brush from Shein, and I'm blending it out with a Holly Fitzmartin paw print style makeup brush. Now when I say a paw print brush, I basically mean a foundation brush that's got, it's flat and it's got an angle to it, but it's a little bit fluffy as well. I do have a brush essentials guide available on my Patreon, which you can purchase, which includes all the brushes that I use and why I use them, just in case you struggle with your makeup brushes. However, with the foundation, we're applying a very light amount, to be honest. We're essentially applying probably 2 pumps worth across the base. So I've applied a little bit along one side of the cheek, and I blended it out with the fluffy flat brush, and then we're going to apply it across the entire base as well, across the forehead, the nose, the other side of the face, and a little bit down the neck as well, to make sure everything is nice and matching. Now for our cream bronzer, we are going in with the Pink Honey cream bronzer in the shade Cookie Butter, and I'm applying it with a flat brush first into our contour areas. So this is the cheekbone, perimeter of the forehead, the jawline, the nose, anywhere that you want to sculpt and enhance and add a little bit of warmth as well. Now I do love using a cream bronzer. I think they're so easy to use. You can blend them out, you can fix them if you need to. It's just the perfect way to add contouring into your makeup routine. So I've blended it out with a angled brush from P. Louise. It's just an angled cheek brush, and I'm tapping it into the skin where we applied that contour, and it's just going to blend perfectly into the foundation we've already laid down. As you can see, I'm just pushing right on top of that contour, and it's blending out perfectly. Now you don't want it to blend out absolutely everywhere. You do want to make sure you've got a little bit of structure, a little bit of depth in there, but you just want to make sure the edges of that contour are blended into the skin for a really nice bronzed finish. So now I've bronzed the skin, we're going to apply a little bit of blush, and I do love a good blush. So we're applying the H&B Glossy Blush Skin Tint in the shade Muted 03. And we're also going to apply a little bit of Pink 01, I believe, as well, or Muted 01, just to jazz it up a bit. And I'm taking a flat fluffy brush from Shein, and I'm applying it right above the bronzer, right into the under eye area. So I like to apply it pretty much where the outer corner of the eye is, just underneath the eyeliner, and I'm applying it on top of the bronzer and patting it into the skin as I go. And I'm slightly blending it into the apples of the cheeks, into the under eye, to create a really nice flushed blush moment. Now I do like a heavy blush. I think it's very Kylie Jenner, Makeup by Ariel. It's just a really gorgeous way to jazz up your makeup look and add a little bit of colour as well. And these cream blushes are dewy and they're absolutely perfect. Once I've applied, I'm taking an MOB & Co dome shaped brush and blending out the edges of that blush into the rest of the skin as well. Once we've completed our bronzing and blush, we're going to go ahead with our concealer to brighten and enhance the base. So we're taking the same Too Faced concealer in the shade Nude onto the same flat brush and putting it right underneath the eyes first. So I'm doing quite a generous amount of concealer on the inner corner of the under eyes, and I'm also taking the concealer right up to the eyeliner just to re-sculpt it, re-brighten and snatch the skin as well. So as you can see, we're still doing the triangular motions that we did all the way back in 2016, but it's a little bit reduced, it's a little bit more controlled, and we're putting it where we want it. So I'm also placing the concealer in the chin, upper lip, nose and forehead, as these are the highlight areas. These are the areas we want to brighten and add dimension to. For example, we want the chin to look a little bit pointier, we want the upper lip to look a little bit fuller, we want the nose to be more snatched, and we want the under eyes to be a bit fuller and more blurred and filter-like, which is why we're applying this concealer in these areas. Once we've applied the flat brush, we can take our Doll Beauty brush and blend it out into the rest of the skin, using patting motions to pat that concealer into the foundation and the blush that we've already applied, and we just want to pat along the edges of the concealer to make sure it's nice and seamless with the rest of the base, but we're still keeping that coverage in there as well. And because we did that smoky under eye, we don't have to worry about taking the concealer all the way up to the eyes. We can just blend it out with a small fluffy brush to make sure it's nice and blended, and this will help also reduce any fine lines and wrinkles. Now we've completed all our creams and liquids, we can go ahead with our setting powder. So I'm taking the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder in the shade Pound Cake, and I'm using a dome shaped brush to pat this underneath the eyes. So I'm taking a loose setting powder and I'm using a very light amount just to set where we've placed our products. I always start off with the under eyes because concealer again tends to crease, it tends to kind of add fine lines underneath the eyes and stuff, so I want to make sure they are set in place so they do not budge all day long. So I'm using a brush for this step, not a powder puff, because I can control how much powder I'm using. So I'm using a very light amount of powder at first, barely any to be honest, just to set it in place. Then we can take a little bit more powder to add a bit more of a blurring finish to the skin, just to mattify and blur the skin as we need to. Now I am going to apply this powder into the high points of the face as well, such as the forehead, the nose, the chin, the upper lip. I always find as a makeup artist, these are places where people tend to touch the most, or people tend to move the most. So I want them to be absolutely secure, whether people touch them or move them, they're absolutely not going to budge, and it's going to become bulletproof, which is the exact purpose of this full glam makeup look. So now set of our powders, we can go ahead into our powder products to finish off the skin. So I'm starting off with a powder bronzer. This is a MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Tan, and I'm using an angled brush from Sephora just to place this where we put the contour areas earlier. So basically, wherever you did your cream bronzer, you're going to top it up with a powder bronzer just to bring back the colour, to make sure it's set in place, and to give that extra warmth and dimension to the skin. I really like the MAC Mineralized Skin Finishes. This is my favourite bronzer of all time. It's a really soft, subtle way of bronzing and contouring the skin. It doesn't add too much, it's not too mattifying, and it's the perfect finishing touch to our bronzed skin. And now for our blush, we're taking the Beauty Crop Luminous Blush Powder in the shade Lavish on an MOB & Co dome shaped brush, and I'm just tapping this blush into where we put it before. So we're just bringing back that pinky colour, and this blush has a little bit of a glow to it. It's got a dewy glow filter like finish, so it's perfect for this makeup look. It just brings back that glow and adding a little flush of colour at the exact same time. And to add a little bit more glow to the skin, we're taking the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlighter Duo, and I believe this is Fire Lightning or something like that. Just neutral highlighter shade. It's got a little bit of glitter to it as well, so it really adds that wet look finish to the skin. It just hydrates the skin, brings back that dewiness, that glow that we know and love, and it just finishes it off absolutely perfectly. It really helps if you are going for a full glam look, just to bring back the natural skin-like finish. And I'm just applying it to the cheeks, nose, forehead, chin, anywhere where we want a little bit extra glow to the skin. It's the absolutely perfect way to finish this look off. And to finish off the brows, I am actually taking the Maybelline Master Brow Fix pencil, and I'm just filling in any gaps that I can see within the brows. I'm not doing it too much, I'm just giving them a little bit of colour, a little bit more definition, mainly because we might have gone on top of them with a little bit of loose powder or something. So I want to make sure they are still as deep and vibrant as they were at the beginning of the makeup look, and just to make sure we're filling in any gaps as well. I did also want to extend the tail of the eyebrow ever so slightly, just to make it a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more snatched, as it just matches the eye makeup absolutely perfectly. And for lashes, I just cut up some lashes from Shein, and I'm just applying them with the Doll Beauty lash glue that I let dry for about 2 or 3 minutes. I did the eyebrows whilst the lash glue was drying, and I wanted to show you in real time how long it takes me to glue this eyelash on. So I placed it along the lash line at first, making sure it fit her eye shape, and then I pressed it in a little bit, and there you go, it's absolutely perfect, stuck on first time. Now this other eyelash did have a little bit of glue still in there just because it was still drying, but it's pretty much perfect. And before we jump into mascara or lips, I did want to take a little bit of setting spray just to melt the rest of the skin together, and this is a Beauty Crop Wishery setting mist. It's probably my favourite setting mist of all time. It just really melts them powders together and creates a really nice dewy finish to the skin. It just really seals the deal and makes sure everything is absolutely perfect. Now for mascara, I'm just taking the Rimmel Thrill Seeker mascara, which is my favourite one to use as a makeup artist, because I don't use mascaras for the brushes, I just use them for the product. And I did take it on a disposable mascara wand. Now believe it or not, these brushes are actually interdental brushes. These are the brushes that you floss your teeth with. Obviously, they are absolutely perfect for lashes. They have good gripping power, they're really small and tiny, so you can get into every single individual lash. And when you're working on clients, to use a really big mascara wand right in front of their eyes, it can be intimidating and it can make them blink a lot, watery eyes. So I use a smaller brush as a little hack to get right into those brushes. And it's really good for bottom lashes as well, because it separates them perfectly without clumping them up too much. And this mascara is absolutely perfect. It's just a really nice black mascara. You can use any mascara you fancy. I just find this one is really nice and waterproof. It coats the lashes a really nice deep black, and it's absolutely perfect for a full glam makeup look. And to finish off with the lips, we're just doing a really nice peachy pinky nude lip combo. So I'm starting off with the Doll Beauty Doll lip liner in the shade Boy Bye, just to line the lips with a nice neutral brown tone. I didn't want it to be too dark, and I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. I didn't want to do a super dark ombre lip colour. I wanted something fairly neutral and fairly easy for people to follow along with as well. And once I've lined the lips, I'm going to go in with the Doll Beauty lipstick in the shade Golden Girl, and this is a perfect peachy golden undertone nude. I used a disposable lip wand, of course, for the application, and I just pressed it right into the lips and on top of the lip liner and blended it slightly with a pencil brush. And then for a little bit of gloss, I took the Rare Beauty Luminizing Lip Gloss in the shade Spark. It's a really nice lip gloss. I got sent these lip glosses a couple of months ago and I've not stopped using them. They've got a little bit of sparkle to them, a little tiny bit of sparkle, but they smell amazing, they're super glossy, and they're really brought the colour out in Yasmin's lips for this makeup look. It's the perfect way to finish off this full glam look. And as a final finishing touch, of course, we have to add a little bit of body glow. Now this is actually something I've been working on, which is a body highlighter body glow. It's in a golden undertone, and I'm just applying it with a Doll Beauty body brush. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it really finishes the full glam look off. And with a couple finishing touches, we can finally complete our full glam makeup look on the gorgeous model Yasmin. And this is the final and completed makeup look. Isn't it absolutely stunning? Isn't it glowy, glossy? It's the perfect full glam makeup look for 2026. We've got the smoky cat eye, a little bit of glitter on the lids, the dewy skin, but it's absolutely bulletproof as well. It's the perfect makeup look to learn for clients or for yourself for a full glam makeup look. Thank you all for watching my first makeup artist YouTube video. I hope you all enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Please make sure to go out and check my Patreon, where you can go and support me as a creator. And I also have a bunch of other stuff on my Patreon, such as more masterclasses like this one, more brush essential guides, some makeup product lists. I have absolutely everything over on my Patreon for all of you as well. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.